to this very special occasion that we look forward to all year. Before we get into the festivities, we're going to do something very important, that's eat. So we're going to ask this table first over here to get up and start at the end of the buffet, and we're going to just gradually work our way through, have you some nice breakfast, sit down, and then we'll start the program. So please enjoy. On the air conditioning, Murphy's Law, right? The whole building is down with air conditioning problems, but they're working on it. They'll have it back up soon. That's a good thing, because if you noticed when you're going through the breakfast buffet, you saw all of our Hall of Famers framed back there. But we're having a great dinner tonight. Over 100 people planning tonight to be here to celebrate going into the Space Coast Sports Hall of Fame, which, as you all know, probably is a goal for many of you who are here today. Perhaps you'll end up going into the Space Coast Sports Hall of Fame one day. So that's tonight. We have a reception here at 6 o'clock, and the dinner is at 7. If you'd like to join us, you are welcome to join us, as you'll be officially Breakfast of Champions inductees this morning as well. We do have a lot of people to thank who really make this event possible. First of all, I'd like to recognize our Space Coast Daily team, my partner, Tom Palermo. Where's Tom? He's going to make a grand entrance. There's Tom Palermo. I'd like to say the greatest publisher in the world. We publish this newspaper, which is on your table, and also our magazine there. We're very proud to bring those to you free of charge for the last 17 years. We've produced those products, and online, of course, we're the leader now in local news online, with 430,000 friends on our Facebook page. And in fact, you should probably let all your family and friends know that they can watch these festivities now live on YouTube or our Facebook page at Space Coast Daily. So if they don't know, you can text them now, and they can join in the fun. We want to thank all of our team. First of all, Gavin Keith back there, who's our Wizard of Oz. He's the one who does all the productions for us, and does many of the big programs at Disney now. Also want to thank Zach Clark, our executive editor, who couldn't be here today. He's getting ready for all the graduations that we're covering free of charge the last several days. We do that for every school in the county so we can celebrate our students passing across the stage. Also want to thank Ron Krieger back there, our sales executive back there. Beth York is in the back, right there waving at one of our cameras. Also want to thank Matt O'Hearn, Steve Wilson, and Orville Susong of the Friday Night Locker Room. You've probably seen them during the broadcast. Want to thank them and recognize them. Zane Garcia, our sports editor, is here. Zane will be reading the narratives, the stories he's written on the student athletes today. And also want to thank Karina as well, and AJ Plonsky, our new intern in the back. AJ's here as well. I'd like to thank my lovely wife, Allison, for putting a lot of these details together. Thanks, Allison. And Coastal Market for the food. They provided the breakfast for us today, and they'll be doing the dinner again tonight. So thanks, Rusty Buchanan and Kathy and the whole gang. Now that we got those festivities out of the way, I'd like to thank Tom Wasden. Tom Wasden is a personal friend of mine for over 40 years, and national championship basketball coach at Jacksonville. Just a leader here, helped form the Tourism Council many, many moons ago. And his wife and he, Susie, are real community benefactors, and they've sponsored the Breakfast of Champions today and the Hall of Fame. So let's hear it for Tom Wasden. Also want to thank our sponsors, Health First, All Points, Rising Tide Restaurant, Victory Casino Lines, 4th Street Filling Station, the Cocoa Beach Hotel Motel Association, and Forever Young, the great gymnasium on Merritt Island. Now we got out of the way, I would like my lovely wife, Allison. Allison, come on up. She's going to do us an invocation for us. If you'd like to stand, please.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, for the blessing of bringing these people together. I humbly ask that you bless their day and you give us this camaraderie and this fellowship as we go throughout our day today. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thanks, Allison. Where's my grandson, Brody? Come on, Brody. Brody's a specialist on the... Come on, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Brody. Come on up, Brody. There we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir. This next gentleman, Rusty Buchanan. Rusty Buchanan formed the Space Coast Sports Hall of Fame Breakfast of Champions 17 years ago. Rusty did this, and it's been a labor of love for us. We love doing it, and we're honored to recognize you folks here today. Rusty led the largest amateur athletic organization in the world for 18 years as vice president and as president of the AAU. And we're very proud to have Rusty here in Cocoa Beach, still here and still making a big difference. And Rusty's going to say a few words. Come on, Rusty.
All right, hey, welcome everybody. I probably don't need the mic, but I'll turn it on just in case. You know, people ask me, you're the president and the CEO of the AAU, the largest user. I said, and how did you get to be in that job? I said, well, it started when I was in school. I was born in North Carolina. We're sitting right here at this table. Born in North Carolina. Well, you live in North Carolina and not want to play basketball, right? NC State, you got Duke, you got Carolina, you got Wake Forest, you got to play basketball. So I went to high school, I wanted to play basketball. So I worked real hard, trained real hard. My freshman year, I went up to the basketball team. You know what happened? Anybody? I got cut. Sophomore year, worked hard, trained hard. Guess what happened? Got cut. Junior year, what happened? Got cut. Senior year, worked, trained, really worked at it. You know what happened? Made the team. I was the 15th man on a 15-man team, which meant I got to sit at the very end of the bench right beside the Gatorade cooler. And didn't really have to worry about, showering or anything after. So I was the first one to all the parties because I didn't shower. I had all the Gatorade I could drink, got in my car and drove off. It was great, man. I loved it. I was on the team, having a good time. And then one day we're beating West Charlotte. And we were up by about 25 points with a minute left to play. And Coach Price walks over and he looks down at Stan Howard. Now, Stan was the 14th man on the 15-man team. He said, Stan, get in for Lou. Stan gets in for Lou. Coach Price looks down at me. He looks up at the clock. Clock's ticking, less than a minute left to play. About that time, my parents, my girlfriend, a couple of friends of mine sitting right behind me, they start chanting, "We want Rusty. We want Rusty. We want." Coach Price looks down at me. "We want Rusty." He looks at the scoreboard. 35 seconds. "We want Rusty." We're up by 20. He looks down at me and says, "Rusty, get up in the stand, see what those people want, would you?" That's when I decided that maybe basketball wasn't in my career path. So I chose a little different career path that helped because I did have some very good mentors. I had a coach that saw some ability in me off the basketball floor. Said, you're not a bad athlete, pretty decent football player, pretty good track athlete, got pretty decent grades. He said, let's focus. Let's work on finding a path for you to get a scholarship. And there was one special person, and I'm not a great speaker, I'm a storyteller. So I'm going to tell this first story not to the athletes, but to those coaches and those administrators, because I had somebody that looked and saw something in me that said, you know what, with a little bit of tutelage, this one better? A little bit of tutelage, maybe we can do something for you. And this person took an interest. Well, years later, I got a scholarship to NC State. My freshman year, I was second in the Atlantic Coast Conference in the high hurdles, third on the East Coast, ninth in the nation, and met the Olympic qualifying standard in 1980. Unfortunately, that was the year that we boycotted the Olympic Games. But that coach that had mentored me, that saw something in me, years later, I got the opportunity to speak to groups, and I tell a story about another coach. And it started with an athlete that was at NC State with me. He was a hurdler from the Dominican Republic, and his name was Pete Beltrez, and Pete was an awesome athlete. He came to NC State. He ran in the national championships. He went back home to the Dominican Republic. He won their Olympic trials. He went to the Olympic Games, and he was a finalist in the Olympic Games as a 400-meter hurdler. He came back to NC State as a hero, Olympic finalist. Yeah. 6 months later, he flunks out of school. He's back in the Dominican Republic, and he's hanging out. Friends are all doing drugs and drinking. And he had one person in his life, it was a coach. And that's why this is to the coaches and the administrators. And the coach says, Pete, you're too good. We can make a difference if we focus together. This coach took an interest. He saw something in that child. And I'm going to speak later tonight at the dinner about the difference between being a dreamer and being a visionary. A dreamer has a dream. A visionary is somebody that acts on that dream. So be visionaries. Be visionaries. Because they took Pete Beltrez, they put him in a community college, he got his grades up, he got back into NC State. He went on, he was a two-time All-American at NC State, but he graduated, and today he's an international investment banker in Madison Avenue, New York City. And he's there because somebody, a coach or administrator, said, I can make a difference in this kid's life. So the coaches and the administrators, your takeaway is, I want to be a visionary, not a dreamer. When you see potential, act on it and help these young athletes fulfill their life path. To the athletes, how do you get there? You guys are at the pinnacle right now of your athletic career. Shave a few more tenths off, go a little bit faster, jump a little higher. There's opportunity there. And it's going to take dedication and it's going to take practice. But I'm going to share one more story to the athletes, and that story is about a good friend of mine that grew up in Indiana, and every time it got warm enough that they could go swimming, they'd swim. But if you're on the swim team, you got to go to the pool 2 weeks early before the pool opened to the public. So Dan Harrigan wanted to swim. He wanted to go to the pool with all his friends, so Dan goes and he joins the swim team. And he jumped in the water and he swam and he swam and he's doing good. And he come out and his eyes were all swollen, his nose was stuffy. So he went home, he said, Mom, my eyes are, and he said, the chlorine must be bad. And so they called the pool tests everything. He said, no, it's not the chemicals in the water's fine. Temperature of the water's fine. So they send Dan to the doctor, and the doctor runs a series of tests. And they find out that Dan Harrigan is allergic to chlorine. It's when you put your face in the water, the chlorine interacts with it. Dan says, maybe I shouldn't be a swimmer, you know. But Dan had the mindset, and when you take away today, I want you to remember a couple of things. Find a way. Find a way. So Dan decided, well, you know what? I'll be a manager. You know, I can keep the times, and I can write down splits and stuff like that. So that's what he did. Until one day that he was in the water swimming around, and he's keeping his face out of the water, and he rolls over on his back, and he's like, oh, well, this isn't too bad. I can keep my face out of the water. So Dan started swimming around on his back. Pretty soon, Dan realized that, hey, you know, I can swim, I can train, and it doesn't bother me. So Dan decided, I'm going to be a backstroker on the swim team because I don't have to put my face in the water. 6 years later, Dan Harrigan won a bronze medal in the Olympic Games as a backstroker. So the takeaway, athletes, from that story is very simple. Have a dream and follow the dream. Hopefully you've got the assistance of a visionary in helping you through that path. There's one more thing, and you host speakers forever and ever as you transition through life. And most of them you'll forget everything they said. But there's one thing that I want you to remember from this, and that's the punchline at the very end of this final story. I live in Florida, live in Cocoa Beach. We had a series of storms a few years ago that just demolished my house, tore the roofs off. I had shingles everywhere. I'm a pretty cheap guy, so didn't have real good insurance. So when the insurance guy shows up, he's driving a van. He's about 75 years old. He's got a busted out window in the back of his van with a ladder sticking out of it. And he comes out and he goes, I'm Billy the roofer. I'm here to fix your roof. And I'm like, where's everybody else? He goes, it's just me. I can do it. So he goes and he pulls the ladder out and he sticks it up and he climbs up on my roof and he's lugging the shingles up there and he's tearing stuff off. And all my neighbors have got these roofing crews and they're walking around with the nail guns, dunk, 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 and their roofs are going up and they're looking good. And I'm watching the weather. There's another storm coming. So finally I get up on the roof and I said, Billy, you're up here with a hammer and a nail and you're just banging and banging. You know, everybody else is getting this roof fixed, but we got to kind of speed it up. And he looks up at me and he goes, well, Mr. Big Shot, college-educated business executive, so let me tell you something. You know what's going to happen when I finish this roof? I said, probably another storm is going to come, Billy. If you don't get on it, it's not going to get done. He goes, no, what's going to happen is a man licensed by the state of Florida is going to come up here and he's going to inspect my work. And what he's going to find is not one single nail out of place. He's going to find every edge and every seam is meticulous and organized exactly as it should be. He's going to find a perfect job. Because if you want to take away, and if you want to take away, he said, let me just tell you something. There is a big difference between knowing how to do something and taking pride in what you do. So my takeaway from you, if you remember one phrase, regardless of what it is, there's a big difference between knowing how to do something and taking pride in what you do. So whether it's your schoolwork, whether it's in the classroom, in the boardroom, on the field of competition, if you give it your very best, something that you can be proud of, that's probably the single biggest key to help you be successful, not just as an athlete, but successful in life. You put your name on it, it's yours. Take pride in what you do. So that's what I want to leave you with as you go forward from today in your business careers, your life skills. Take pride in everything that you do. I'm going to do one final test, and I apologize to Tom because Tom's had to listen to me for 17 years, and he's heard this probably 16 times. But I want everybody to take your hands and put them about 6 inches apart, just like this. Okay? Here's what I'm going to do. Pretty simple. See how well you guys were listening. I'm going to take my right hand, and I'm going to pass it over to my left hand like this. And every time my right hand is over the top of my left hand, I want you to clap. All right, let's try it. Come on, let's try it. Ready? Pretty good. All right, ready? Here we go. Come on, here we go. All right, watch. You knew it was coming this time. Tom even clapped. One more time, ready? Hey, come on, I got to get applause somehow. Thank you guys very much. Let me turn it back over to Giles. Good luck and congratulations to all the coaches, administrators, and athletes. Job well done.
Thank you, Rusty.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you very much. Before we bring Matt Susan up from our school board, he's going to say a few words. I do want to recognize and just give you one message that all of you, you're the elite. You're the very best male and female athletes in Brevard County high schools for this year. That's an incredible achievement that you guys have really worked this hard. You've had the discipline. You've had talent. It's in your DNA that's brought you this far. But you wouldn't be here today without other people who've helped you along the way, right? The parents, the coaches. I'd like to have all the parents and coaches stand up. We're going to recognize you right now. Please stand. Thank you very much. Couldn't do it without you. Now, Matt Susan is a leader here in the county, done a lot of things for the school system, and he's got some exciting news for us he's going to share. Come on up, Matt.
Can you guys hear me pretty good? Okay. First off, I want to say thank you to Rusty Buchanan. Many of you don't know, he came up here, he tells a lot of great stories, and he does the hand clapping and everything else. But for the past 17 years, the things that man has done for the interwoven fabric of this community's athletic programs is beyond anything anybody else has ever done. And he deserves a huge round of applause. But before you do that, hang on, I gotta tell you a funny story. So Rusty likes to tell stories, and this is one I have to tell you so that you don't do what he asks you to do in the future. So when I first met Rusty, we were sitting around trying to figure out how we were gonna bring the AAU National Olympics to Brevard. That was a whole other story. And at the tail end of the dinner, he says, you know, Matt, he started talking about, Rusty's an avid aircraft pilot, right? So he flies planes and everything else. He told me this story about how he took off from Merritt Island Airport, got out over the sky, and then he ran out of gas. And he had to bring that thing back in and land it. This horrifying story. I'm on the edge of my seat, scared out of my mind for the whole story, right? So then that passes, and I'm like, okay, great. I know I'm never going to go with Rusty in a plane ever again because I know this, right? Well, the very next time I see Rusty, he's like, hey, Matt, you forgot he told me the story. He said, hey, Matt, you should come with me and go flying sometime. And I was like, absolutely not, Rusty. So I just wanted to tell you guys, if he ever invites you to go out on his plane with him, just know aware that sometimes if you want to go with him, make sure he has the gas filled up before he goes. And I just wanted to say thank you, Rusty. So if everybody can give him a round of applause, he's awesome. All right, so they're not the old prop planes where you got to start it from the front and stuff like that. Anyways, so I did want to take a second. I wanted to honor another coach that I see in here, Coach Tice, who's a coach who has the most wins of any basketball coach in the history of Brevard County. Coach, if you'll stand up for a second and just say hi. And I want to say to everybody, many of the new generations and new parents and everybody here don't understand the fabric of what the Brevard County's athletic programs are. We have won more state titles for football than any other Central Florida school district. That goes all the way through Seminole, all the way through Orange County, which has 28,000 employees. They have 250,000 kids. Tampa, they have 220,000 kids. We have 60,000, 65,000. And we've won more state titles than all of them. And it's incredible. And the reason behind it is people like Rusty and other individuals that have been a part of our programs for a long time. So I have the honor today to talk about 3 things that we're getting ready to do next year and talk about some of the things that you guys as individuals have brought on your backs to bring it to us. So many of you know that I took over as chairman 2 years ago on the school board. I played football at Florida State and I played rugby there. And my goal was to turn sports and athletics in Brevard into what we know it is. When I took over, our middle school programs, if you can believe it, only had 2 sports. On top of that, the middle school basketball said that you had to play all the students that were on the bench almost the exact amount of time. So it wasn't really a competitive thing. Now don't get me wrong, we want to play kids, but that's rec league. Once you start getting into the upper levels, you have to play the students that win the championships and give them the opportunity to continue to do so. So there was a lot of those things that were going on. And what ended up happening is we put together the largest overhaul of athletics over the last 2 years. Coaches almost doubled all of their stipends. We brought more programs into the school district. Last year, we had a 137% increase in athletics in Brevard alone. That means that there were twice as many kids this year playing sports than there were all the previous years playing sports. It's incredible. And the reason is exactly what Rusty said. Rusty said that there's a reason behind when a kid is mentored by another coach. There is nothing stronger than that bond. And if we could create more of those programs for kids all the way from elementary school all the way up to high school, then our grades, our behavior, and everything else gets better. So let me explain what we did. We created elementary school programs, and we're creating vertical pathways for every sport to start in kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. So starting this year, we had flag football, which now we put flag football in middle school, and it's going to be in high school to attribute to all the tackle football programs. Then we brought in soccer, which is in elementary school that goes all the way up to varsity now in 12th grade. Next year, we bring in AAU to fill wrestling, golf, and all the rest of them, and then we start adding those. What that does is creates a vertical alignment of all the sports so that a kid will start playing in kindergarten rather than 6th and 7th grade in some of these sports. They achieved 2 goals, I want to tell you. The first one was the families who wanted to have dinner at their tables, or the single parents who didn't have the opportunity to have their kids play anymore, were able to do so. So these elementary school and middle school programs, right after school at 2:30 in elementary school, the kids could go play their sports, and then at 5:30, their parents would come pick them up. So what ended up happening is a bond was created between those coaches and those students, right? And now we have more kids playing sports than ever before. Now, what that meant was, last year, for the first time, this year, we were an A school district. Many people don't understand how that happens. Well, when you take the students that don't really fit in school because they don't have a buy-in, some of those kids play sports. When you have them mentored and they start working, then they start doing better in school. You know what else? Our discipline fell off. So all of a sudden, we put more athletics in, and I'm not saying that's all what it was, but a portion of it was to drive down those indicators, and now we're an A school district for the first time in 6 years. It's incredible what you can do when you inject more athletics into the programs. So the reason I'm telling you all of this is because there's an individual that I'm going to talk about, because the only reason it happened was because of him. But the next thing is that we're creating next year a broadcasting system. So every school is going to have a series of broadcasters that are going to work with organizations like Space Coast Daily that are going to cover all of the sports. So literally there will be 4 or 5 students at every school, this is elementary through high school, that are going to go and they're going to cover all of the sports. There's going to be Facebook pages, there's going to be social media and everything else, and that's going to start telling the stories that not many people know around here. This room and people inside this building, your stories are incredible. The things and the strives and the things that you've done are amazing. We have to tell those stories. So we're going to create a broadcasting system that has a student at every school that's going to tell the stories of all of our athletes and cover all of those events. That's the first one. The second one is, which is incredible, is I met with the cities and counties, or the city and the county, and we put together a facilities use map. For the first time in Brevard County history, we have all of the pools, football fields, baseball fields, basketball courts, gyms, everything on one big field. Now, what's the reason for that? The reason is that I want to bring the largest tournaments in the United States to Brevard. That was because of Rusty. Rusty and I worked with a lot of other people. I was like the smallest person in the group. But we brought AAU National Olympics here. And for the first time I said, we can do this. We can start hosting these 200-300 team tournaments. And what we can do with that is our kids can compete locally against the best in the nation. So all of a sudden, if we can bring those big tournaments here, now all of a sudden our kids will be elevated. And the other reason that I want to do it is because of one thing is that I'm tired, and I apologize if anybody in here is from a private school, but we are not able to compete at the level of some of the private schools because the issue that we run into is we can't recruit, we can't hire parents, we can't do that stuff. And I'm not saying that there's any takes away from anything that the private schools actually are. They can have that. But when we go deep into the playoffs and we lose to a team that's from Miami or somewhere that ended up being able to recruit and builds this facility that's a multi-million-dollar facility, it's just not fair when our facilities are cut by budgets that are coming out of Tallahassee. So I'm going to create the first ever public school championships here in Brevard for across the state. If I can get the infrastructure set up with all the facilities, we'll be able to do that. Now, that will at least give us, again, all of the honors that we have. We have the broadcasting units doing it, and then we have all the other things. Now, all of that said, that will happen within the next 2 years. All of that said, everything that I told you, I had a very small part in doing. The individual that I'm about to say had the largest job, which was implementing all of those changes into our school district, and that's Mr. Kevin Robinson. I want to let you guys, yep. Yeah. So when I get up here and Kevin's there, I'm not lying to you, he takes blood pressure medicine before he actually comes to the meetings, because what happens is when I come up and I start speaking, I get out ahead of what he actually knows is happening sometimes, and I can't tell him because he'll start trying to put the brakes on me and everything else. So like last year when I came up, I said, hey, Kevin, and to the superintendent, I said, I really want to increase the athletics in elementary school. They said, Matt, it's May. What do you want to do? I said, we want to start putting vertical alignments in and everything else. In May of last year, we put that in. In August 1st, it was actually running, and all the elementary schools were choosing and doing stuff. That's never done in any other school district, and that's because Kevin was in charge of it. When we decided that we wanted to increase the cost of all the pay for all of the athletic coaches inside the county, the football coaches doubled their supplements. It was incredible. That was because Kevin was able to put it together and shepherd it through. When you talk about all of the advancements with the regulations and all of those things, understand that the person that's behind all of that and is dealing with all of the athletic directors in the county, that's Kevin. He's the head of athletics for our county. And is there an athletic directors, any athletic directors in here? Okay, good. I'm going to talk about them for a second. So athletic directors are like Somali warlords, okay? They're like literally the most, wait, I saw Gowdy. Where's Gowdy? Is Gowdy in here? He did. He left, didn't he? They're like Somali warlords. If you've ever met an athletic director, they're advocating for you guys so much, and then they have all the coaches underneath them. So they're definitely type A personality. They're always yelling at you, and they're always on edge about their facilities, about their coaches, about everything. He has to herd all of them from elementary school, middle school, and high school. And let me tell you something. We get emails together all the time. I call them. I'm talking to them. This, I will tell you, we have been blessed to have Kevin and Robinson be a part of our school district, because in the last 2 years, we have doubled the amount of students that are playing in sports. We have doubled the amount of opportunities for kids to play, and we are on path to becoming the best Championship USA sports destination in the United States. And that would only be here because of Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. So that's the only reason I was up here, is to kind of tell you what's coming, tell you about Kevin, and tell all the great things. But I wanted to tell you from the bottom of my heart, for all the athletes, you've dedicated your heart and soul to becoming the best inside of our county. And there's nothing better when we hear about teams going deep into the playoffs, and I'm able to call those other school boards. 3 years ago, I was the head of all school boards for the state of Florida, and I made a lot of good friends. So when we go into Citrus County, we go into Miami-Dade, we go in there, I make phone calls, sometimes I travel with the teams, and we go kick their butts. It makes me feel really, really good when you guys do that. And when we had the honors, when you guys all came to the school district the other day, and we were coming through and taking pictures, that's never happened before. So I'm looking forward to, on the backs of you for next year and many years to come, building this program. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much, Matt. Talk about a firebrand, getting things done. Thank you. Right, we're going to get this program started and really recognize the people why we're here today. Before we do that, I want to thank Health First. For 30 years, they've been committed to building a healthier Brevard. And as the community's local, not-for-profit health system, Health First has been more than just a healthcare provider. It's been a trusted part of the community, and they're here for you always, as you know, growing alongside Brevard and expanding care where it's needed. Today, the system includes 4 hospitals, a medical group with more than 500 specialist providers, a health plan, and a full range of outpatient and wellness services, all working together to give us an excellent health system to keep you guys playing your sports here in Brevard County. Also want to thank Dr. Ritchie and Eastern Florida State College. They're working extremely hard to get the air on. I think the air is flowing. But what a beautiful campus we've got here. We want to actually keep as many of you here in Brevard as we can. And now we have the 2-year program here at Eastern Florida and the 4-year programs where you can get your bachelor's degrees here. So think about staying right here at Eastern Florida. Look at these facilities, world-class soccer teams, baseball teams, and so on. So thank you, Dr. Ritchie and Jack Parker and everyone at Eastern Florida. Okay, now then, now the important part. We want to recognize these incredible student athletes we have here in Brevard County. And I'm going to have Zane going to come up now, and he's going to read out some of these narratives as we recognize each one of these special people that we have here in Brevard County. We're going to start with one of our most outstanding athletes, the national leader in offensive football this year. We're going to start out with a very well-known person here in the county. I'm not sure if Javon is here today. Is Javon here? I don't believe he is. We're going to start out with Javon Boggs from Cocoa High School, and Zane, go ahead with his accomplishments.
So obviously Javon's not here today, but we like to recognize him for being the national leader in receiving yards with over 2,000 receiving yards and setting the record for amount of receiving yards in a game in the state semifinal against Cardinal Newman.
Let's hear it for Javon Boggs. Let's hear it for him. Fantastic. Boys Defensive Player of the Year by sponsored by Ocean Partners, Josh Roberts from Eau Gallie High School. Are you here, Josh? Come on up.
Josh Roberts was the defensive anchor for the Eau Gallie Commodores. He will be headed to Florida Atlantic University next year to play football. As a senior last year, he sacked 14 quarterbacks and had almost nearly 100 receiving yards. Congratulations, Josh.
Let's hear it for Josh. Well done, big guy. Fantastic. Boys basketball, sponsored by Saving Safari. The greatest athlete of the year in boys basketball, Aaron McGee from Vieira High School. Aaron?
I don't believe Aaron is here tonight, but he was a big part of Vieira's success on the court. Vieira had the best year that they've had on the court ever in program history, going 22-5. Aaron averaged 19 points a game and was the leader of their team going to the district championship.
Yeah, well, we hope you are watching and enjoying this, Aaron. Our girls basketball player of the year, Jada Civil from Palm Bay High School. Jada, are you here? Okay.
Jada is another one that's not here, but we'd like to recognize her as she is going to the University of Tennessee. She was actually a McDonald's All-American. Anybody that follows basketball knows that that's one of the biggest accomplishments you can have as a basketball player. She led the Palm Bay Pirates to a 4A state championship and was their leader on the court and off the court as well. She was very successful with a 3.7 GPA.
And thank you, Tom Wasden, for sponsoring that category. Moving on now to baseball, and our Player of the Year in baseball, Carson Leitz from O'Galley High School. Carson, come on up.
Carson was a big-time player for the O'Galley Commodores this year. Not only was he, by batting average, their best hitter, but also an ace on the mound. He had the lowest ERA for all of the pitchers at O'Galley. And if anybody follows O'Galley baseball, they are a very good team. So a lot of good pitchers there, and he was the best of them.
Congratulations, Carson.
Also mentioned he's headed to Daytona State College to continue playing baseball.
Great. Our softball Player of the Year, Lena Ayala from Melbourne High School. Lena, come on up.
As just a sophomore, Lena is one of, not if, but one of the best players in the entire state of Florida with a batting average of over 500, multiple home runs, and continued to have success for the Melbourne softball team as they went on to win the district championship.
Wow, sophomore? Sophomore? Is that right? Sophomore?
Yes.
Wow. Incredible future ahead. Our volleyball Player of the Year, Jasmine Carlton from Bayside High School. Jasmine.
Now, I know that I got this wrong. Jasmine is headed to Mercer University
Awesome.
to continue playing volleyball. Very, very successful season and career at Bayside with a total of over 80 kills. So that is a very, very successful season, and she'll be doing big things next year at Mercer.
Of course, Lexi Denenberg, one of our local stars in volleyball, couldn't be here tonight because she's playing in a big tournament, but she's going in the Hall of Fame tonight. So hopefully that's in the future for Jasmine as well. Our boys golf Player of the Year, Cheyenne Kim from Vieira High School.
Cheyenne's another one who is not here today, but he's only a 10th grader, so he has a couple more years playing at Vieira. Obviously, with golf, he's able to play in junior tournaments as well, and he's been very successful. And he is also ranked as one of the best golfers in his age group across the state of Florida.
Thank you. Our girls golf Player of the Year, Hannah Hall from Vieira High School. Is Hannah here? Oh, okay.
Hannah is one of the best players across the country in golf, and she is actually committed to the University of Kansas. She still has one more year. She is a junior for Vieira High School, but she will be headed to Kansas in the next coming years.
Very good. Thanks, Zane. Our boys soccer Player of the Year, a very sharp young man. I want to welcome Wyatt Moxley from Titusville High School. Wyatt, are you here? Come on up.
Wyatt Moxley is one of the best players across the state of Florida as well in soccer. And this past year helped Titusville go to a 10-5 record after being 9-8 just a year ago. He is headed to Embry-Riddle to continue playing soccer.
Scholar athlete as well, right? Scholar athlete.
Yes, Wyatt is also our co-scholar athlete of the year.
Congratulations. Dean Moxley, my good friend in the back. I want to welcome Dean as well. Thank you for all your service over the years, Dean. One of our county judges. Thank you, sir. A proud grandpa, I know. Girls soccer, Player of the Year, Sky Dias from Cocoa Beach, Junior Senior High School. Yeah, you go Minuteman. Right.
Sky is one of the best players in the state of Florida as well.
Sky.
Just a year ago, Cocoa Beach was only 8-8, and her talents alone brought them to a 16-5 record as she led them with nearly 5 goals a game. She is headed to St. Leo University to continue playing soccer.
From Holy Trinity High School, our boys tennis player of the year, Fred 2. I don't think Fred's here today, is he? No. Unfortunately, many of our athletes couldn't be here today. There's graduation. Actually, a lot of competition, a lot of tournaments going on this weekend. So they're playing versus sitting here around at a breakfast table, which is a good thing.
Fred is another one that's one of the best tennis players, not just in the state of Florida, but in the country. If you look his name up, he is a consensus 5-star athlete on the tennis court. He finished the year undefeated for Holy Trinity. Unfortunately, he lost and fell in the singles tennis, but won doubles for Holy Trinity.
How do you keep all this stuff in your brain, Zane? It's amazing. See how good of a sports editor he is? Great stuff. Awesome. Well done, Zane. Our girls' tennis player of the year, we know their parents, Elena Wydick from Cocoa Beach, Junior Senior High School. Are you here? No.
Elena could not be here today, but she is also one of the top players in the state, finishing this past season at 12-1 in singles and helping Cocoa Beach go far into the playoffs.
Great. Congratulations. Thank you. From Palm Bay High School, our boys wrestling player of the year, Leonard Christian.
Leonard Christian is a big-time wrestler, went to state all 4 years at Palm Bay High School, and actually finished this past year as a senior 60-0 undefeated,
wow,
and went on to win the state championship for the weight class of 285. He will be headed to Life University to continue wrestling.
Excellent. Congratulations. Our girls wrestling player of the year from Vieira High School, Emma Hopp. Emma here? No? Okay.
Emma's one of the best wrestlers in the nation, actually, as many of you have seen and follow wrestling. She was nationally ranked just a couple months ago in wrestling and won a state championship as well.
Thank you. Congratulations, Emma. Our boys lacrosse player of the year from Satellite High School, Killian Rowe.
Killian was unable to make it today, but he is one of the top players in the state and actually set the school record for goals at Satellite with 205 goals. He is their #1 leader in lacrosse goals at Satellite High School.
Wow. Congratulations, Killian. Our girls lacrosse player of the year from Vieira High School, Isa Brown. There she is.
Over the past several years, Issa's been one of the best players, not just at Vieira, but inside the entire Brevard County. She is headed to Florida Tech to continue playing lacrosse.
Right. Congratulations. Fantastic. Our boys bowling player of the year, Lincoln Moyer from Edgewood Junior Senior High School. Let's hear it for Edgewood. Right.
Now, anybody that goes out and plays bowling, we just have fun with it. Lincoln takes it serious.
Lincoln.
He's already bowled a 300 game numerous times and has won the district this past year in Brevard County.
Awesome. Congratulations. Our girls bowler of the year from Melbourne High School, Kalani Hannum. Congratulations, Kalani. Right. Congratulations.
Kalani is also one of the top bowlers in the state of Florida. She has finished in the top 3 in all of the Cape Coast Conference every single year and has an impressive average of 250 in bowling.
Well, the cross-country coach at Eastern Florida, Doug Butler, couldn't be with us this evening because his son's graduating, so he's going to his son's graduation. But Doug is being inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight. I know he'd be loving to recruit these next inductees for the Breakfast of Champions. We have some great runners in the county. Our boys cross-country run of the year, Holy Trinity athlete, Evan Spritzer. Evan?
Evan is a very gifted athlete playing 3 sports at Holy
Thanks for
Trinity,
coming.
playing
Appreciate
soccer,
it, Grandma.
football,
Thank
and
you
of
very
course running cross-country. He won the state title in the 2-mile and
Thank you.
placed amongst the top runners in the state in the 5K run. So, good job.
Very proud grandma there. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. Our girls cross-country runner of the year from Vieira High School, Addie Elwell.
Addie was one of the top runners in the state in cross country. She did go on to win a state championship in the 2-mile and placed amongst the top runners in the state in the 5K.
Congratulations, Addie. Boys swimming, athlete of the year from Titusville High School, Braden Hunt.
Braden has been an exceptional swimmer for Titusville over the past 4 years
Congratulations, Braden.
with state championships, and he is also headed to Indian River State College to continue swimming. Good job.
Well done, Braden. Congratulations. From the Raiders, from Rockledge High School, girls swimming athlete of the year, Elena Rolland.
Now, Elena is a very gifted athlete as well, not only a swimmer, but she also plays softball. She has excelled in swimming, winning the Cape Coast Conference and placing 4th in the state championships.
Congratulations. From Palm Bay High School, our boys diving athlete of the year, Lucas Smith.
Lucas is an exceptional diver. He has won the district and Cape Coast and has competed very, very highly in junior meets as well. Lucas will be headed to LaSalle University.
Great. Good luck. Our girls diver of the year from Vieira High School, Sadie Demps.
Sadie has continued to show her dedication to diving and has gotten better each year as she has been a diver for the Vieira Hawks, and this past year she did win a state championship diving.
Great. Congratulations. From Vieira High School, our boys track and field athlete of the year, Jaden McPherson.
Jaden has posted some of the fastest times, not just in the county, but in the state of Florida as well, winning the district in the 100-meter race and placing in the 100 and 200-meter. He'll be a senior next year and looking to continue with his success on the track.
Great. From the Scorps, from Satellite High School, our girls track and field athlete of the year, Kiera Merrick.
Kiera has been successful in track and field as well as cross country with some of the top times along the not just the Cape Coast Conference, but as well as the state.
Fantastic. A homeschooled student athlete, boy surfing athlete of the year, Beckham McCart.
Beckham is another one that couldn't be here, but he is one of the youngest surfers to have won a national championship at the highest level. He represented the USA in the U16 national championships last year.
Congratulations. Well, having been to Cocoa Beach High School and worked in Cocoa Beach for many years, world champion surfer Kelly Slater is in our Hall of Fame, and he actually tunes in every year for our Hall of Fame. He has a lot of pride in the surfing community here in Cocoa Beach, and so we're very proud of him, and we're very proud of our girls' Surfer of the Year, homeschool athlete, Kylie Polsini.
Kylie Polsini is only 17, and last year, actually, she won the U18 national championship in surfing. And with her past 4 junior meets, she's represented the top 10 and across the world, actually.
Wow. Quite a tradition of surfing here in Cocoa Beach. Amazing. Now then, as we mentioned, Mr. Moxley is one of our co-scholar athlete, but our other co-scholar athlete from Holy Trinity, Keegan Harrison. Keegan? Right here.
Keegan Harrison was one of the key parts in Holy Trinity's success, as they were the best record-wise team in the Cape Coast Conference for soccer, and he'll be headed to MIT with a GPA of 4.7.
Wow. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. Our Boys Courage Award goes to a student from O'Galley High School, Michael Quint.
Michael was a member of not only just the football team, but ran track as well. That is an honor to get that award, so good job, Michael.
Well done, Michael. We had a tie for the Girls Courage Award. Our coaches got together. We have 2 student athletes we're going to recognize for the Courage Award in the female side. From Palm Bay, Jada Civil, and from Satellite, Laurelie Filosa. Come on up. Congratulations. You're welcome.
Laurelie will be headed to Florida State. She's a very talented volleyball player as well as track and field, and she'll be running track at Florida State. She has posted some of the best times in the 800 meters and hurdles across the Brevard County.
Well, Cocoa High School puts out some amazing athletes, and the boys' team of the year is the Cocoa football team, the state champions. Congratulations to the Cocoa football team.
The Cocoa High football team completed the three-peat this year, winning 3 consecutive state championships. They also went 11-3, playing a national schedule with their only 3 losses coming against nationally ranked teams. So one of the best teams in actually Cocoa history.
Well done, Cocoa. From Palm Bay, the girls' team of the year, the basketball team from Palm Bay High School. Team of the year on the girls' side.
The Palm Bay girls basketball team went on to win the 4A state championship over American Heritage. And not many people know, but they actually went on to compete for a national championship at the Throne that was hosted in New Jersey. So that's one of the best teams in the country.
Indeed. Well, it takes all sorts of people to get us to this level of sports here in high school in Brevard County. And our next honoree is a person who's really done a lot, from the National Kidney Foundation to helping so many sports programs here on the Space Coast with donations of financial support. That's Mike and Freddie Erdman from Erdman Automotive. Let's hear it from Mike and Freddie. Thank you. Our athletic director of the year is Kevin Robinson from Brevard Public Schools. Come up, Kevin.
As everyone, and especially Michael, Susan has already spoke very highly of Kevin. He's done a lot for this community and for Brevard County as a whole. So we'd like to thank you, Kevin, for everything that you've done.
Well done, sir. Thank you. Leading that team to the three-peat from Cocoa High School is our Coach of the Year, Ryan Schneider. Coach Ryan here.
Ryan Schneider had big shoes to fill, taking over for the legendary Coach John Wilkinson at Cocoa, but he has already had an accomplished career for himself at Cocoa, winning now his 3rd straight state championship.
Well done. Congratulations, Coach. Takes a lot to administrate all this great athletics here on the Space Coast, and our Administrator of the Year, Beth Myers, the principal from Riviera Elementary. You here, Beth, today? Nope.
There's a lot of administrators to choose from. We have such a great administration across the entire county. We'd like to congratulate her as the Administrator of the Year.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. It takes a lot to run the school board. As you've seen, it's not an easy job running the school board, being on the school board, and being the superintendent of all of the interaction between parents, athletics, students is a difficult job. But our Lifetime Achievement Award honoree this year is Dr. Mark Rendell, the BPS Superintendent. Let's hear it for Mark. Well, that wraps up our awards, I believe. We're going to have 2 more, which are going to be our Boys and Girls Athletes of the Year. Obviously, all of you, in your own way, are Athletes of the Year in your own sports. But our Boys Athlete of the Year this year is a tie between Brady Hart from Cocoa and Javon Boggs from Cocoa. Let's hear it for those two student athletes.
That was a very hard decision between both of them as they both were named Mr. Football in the state of Florida over the past 2 seasons.
Indeed. And our Girls Athletes of the Year, another tie, Jada Civil from Palm Bay and Loralee Filosa from Satellite. Come on, girls. Yeah, sure. You want to come up? Come on up. This one? Okay. Excuse me. Our Girl Courage Award and our Co-Girl Scholar Athlete of the Award is Tori Berry. I apologize, Tori. Thanks for keeping me straight there. Congratulations.
Tori has
Sorry
had
about that,
a
Tori. I apologize.
successful career at Vieira, not only playing volleyball, but also playing softball, and was a key member of the softball team for Vieira.
Well, there it is, folks. Many congratulations to all you parents, coaches, athletes, and we want to thank all of you for everything you do here on the Space Coast. Wish you the very best of luck, and we hope to see you back here one day in the Space Coast Sports Hall of Fame. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thanks, Ronnie,
yeah.
for reminding me. We'd like to invite you tonight to watch on Space Coast Daily. You can watch the Hall of Fame live tonight. Hopefully we'll have some nice cooler room tonight. But we want to encourage all of you athletes now to come down. We're going to get some photos of you at our Eastern Florida logo wall here. And then we're going to get a group picture of all the athletes as well. So if the athletes would please come over here, we're going to get headshots. Thank you very much for coming, and we really appreciate you. Thank you. Woo.